It was good. I got up a bit late since I woke up to watch Jonah's thing. Um, I wasn't fully awake through the entire thing. I was awake for the first half, the first 20 minutes, and then I don't remember the rest.
You weren't awake for the 4 a.m. I guess that'd be 5 a.m. for you.
No, it was 4 a.m. But yeah, it was. I was half awake typing things in chat. I don't remember everything I put. I saw you wrote some things.
Yeah, no, it was a good run. I will say some of the things you typed Sam were very. I'm not sure if that's gonna fly if you get Twitch's standards.
No, the only thing I remember spamming a lot of Sam Stash.
Well, that makes sense.
Because I think I remember somebody was like, "Oh, that's a good King DDD over his shoulder," and then I immediately put Sam Stash because Sam Stash is also there over his shoulder.
Yeah, it's a very good Sam Stash.
And then I remember I think this was before I fell back asleep. I was barely conscious, and I wrote, "Man, this perk guy seems like a cool dude. I'd love to meet him in real life sometime and have a beer," or something like that.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, Cooper, I understand that you've not been having the best day, but I think I have something that'll cheer you right up.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you go look in your email?
My email?
Yeah, go check your email, buddy.
Am I supposed to be seeing something?
The Gmail email.
When'd you send this?
It should be earlier today. It's not going to be from me.
Oh. Wow. The Humble Bundle Sakura series. You shouldn't have, Sam. You know how much wow, that's like 5 games. Fun fact, my Steam account, I have a you can like label, you can like make different like tabs for like different types of games.
Mm-hmm.
I have a tab specifically just for the Sakura games. I call it "Don't Dead Open" inside. Actually, it's only Sakura games and then also Minorino.
Yeah, that's accurate.
And here, I'll let me just remember to redeem those and then never play them.
But that should cheer you right up. Give you a little something to do after the stream.
Goodness, finally. Interactive softcore pornography.
The best kind always is.
I think I'll just stick with Doom, Game for Men. Looking at girls. How much did that cost you? Like $1?
Yes.
Well, okay. Good. I'm glad you didn't break the bank for me.
So there you go. Hope that makes up for your lack of sleep.
It does a little bit. Like I said, I took a nap earlier, but I don't feel any more refreshed after it. It's one of those naps where I didn't really mean to fall asleep. So when I woke up, my mouth was like dry, but I was also like somehow felt like moister than usual. I'm like, oh, looking around.
Were you like on your couch or something? It's not like you have a lot of places where you could just accidentally fall asleep.
No, I was just lying down my bed for a sec.
Yeah.
Just let's do some relaxing music.
You laid down, listened to some relaxing music. How did I fall asleep?
I'm not surprised. I didn't say that. I just didn't mean to.
Oh no, this would be awful if I were to fall asleep right now.
It's the week. Sometimes you just relax and it becomes a nap by accident.
Mm-hmm.
I have officially become a the dad that's like falls asleep on the couch sitting upright.
Those are the best naps.
At like 8 p.m.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you used to freaking take naps in college at 10:30 p.m. and then wake up and do your homework. You remember
Look, I did, well, I was there. Yeah, it was. Of course I do. He was me. And I got through college alive.
You did, yes. But you took naps at 10:30 and then would get back up in the evening.
Most people just call that sleeping. I don't.
Yeah, you went to bed for a little bit and then woke back up for some reason.
I'm sure that had no negative side effects on me.
None whatsoever.
You know how humans are, the studies have shown that humans are supposed to, instead of having one large meal, they're supposed to have several small meals throughout the day.
You mean like instead of just eating once, eat 3 times a day?
Some studies show like eating like 5 small meals throughout the day. It's like, because, cavemen, they would always be walking around just eat whenever they could. So, it's a little more spaced. What I'm saying is we should do that for sleep. 2 hours at a time on a 24-hour cycle.
That sounds fucking awful.
4 hours on, 2 hours off.
What is it? I remember there was something where you used to wake up in the middle of the night and like have a snack and then go back to bed. I think that was something for a long time.
See, that one I don't think I could do.
No.
I don't like eating right before going to bed.
Well, you didn't have to have a snack. You wake up and you like do a little bit of knitting or whatever by candlelight or some shit.
Sounds like something that old people did.
I'm not sure how accurate this is. This is.
You might just be making this up.
I'm not making it up, but the person I read it from could have been making it up.
People lie on the internet?
That's impossible.
That can't be true.
All right, you want to get on into it?
Yeah, I say we do.
See how rusty we are?
Yeah. So welcome back, everyone. As I was saying, it's been a hot second since we've done a proper review. It's for myriad reasons: holidays, family, a wedding or two. So it's a series of back-to-back things that kind of put us off schedule.
Well, three of them were you.
Yes.
Back to back to back. And then it just so happened that the 2 weeks that I couldn't do it lined up right after your 3 weeks.
Yeah, so it was
I had a convention to go to and then a cousin's wedding.
So yeah, it was just a myriad of a circumstance, but we are back and better than ever.
Yeah.
Some might say.
So welcome back to the Audio Shop Podcast. This week we're doing Mystery Girl by Roy Orbison. Orbison, however you want to say it.
Yeah, I think it's Orbison. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I've never heard it with the I pronounced, but I'm not sure I've heard anyone say it other than us. So
we've just been saying it wrong the entire time. This actually rounds out our Traveling Wheelbarrow reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're unfamiliar, Traveling Wheelbarrows is like a super group that is formed of rock legends.
And Bob Dylan.
Okay. I mean, we're mean to him, but I feel like he's pretty well known. He certainly has his fans. Yeah, but it includes Bob Dylan, Tom Petty. Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, George Harrison, Roy Orbison, of course, and Jeff Lynne. And we have reviewed, of course, Traveling Wilburys record, as well as at least one record from each of those people. Now rounding it out with Roy Orbison. And he was actually the oldest member of the Traveling Wilburys whenever they got together, and he was pretty much the glue of them. Do you think that'd be a good way to put it, Sam? Like he was like their inspiration.
I guess. I mean, it certainly wasn't Bob Dylan. I can tell you that much. But he was
because Jeff Lynne famously is kind of like infatuated with Roy Orbison.
Yeah. I mean, Roy Orbison was one of the big reasons Jeff Lynne got into music. And when they formed the Traveling Wilburys, it was Jeff Lynne and I can't remember. It was Harrison, right? Who was the other?
George Harrison.
Main, and Harrison brought in Dylan for some reason, and Lynne brought in Orbison.
Tom Petty.
No, yeah. Orbison. And then Tom Petty just kind of showed up. Or no, sorry. No, it was that George Harrison brought in Tom Petty, and then they needed somewhere to record, so they recorded at Bob Dylan's house. So then he joined, or maybe flipped those. I don't remember. It was we go back and watch the episode where we did the Traveling Wilburys. It has all the. I'm not looking at the wiki right now. I'm digging this from the archives of my brain.
Yeah, so they're a proper supergroup, all big names in their own right, formed together to make the Traveling Wilburys. And Roy Orbison is kind of like he was kind of the patriarch, you might say. He was the oldest one of them all. During the time that they formed the group. I believe they made their albums in 1987, I want to say. 88 and 90.
Well, he was only around for the first one.
Yes, which I'll actually get into because so he was kind of most famous throughout the 60s when he was kind of in his 20s and 30s, where he released 22 singles that reached the Billboard Top 40. But post the 60s, his career actually kind of faltered.
And then he died.
Career faltered, some personal tragedies, but then they formed a supergroup that was kind of like his second wind in the late 80s. And yes, unfortunately, he died at a pretty young age of 52 from a heart attack.
Young. Pretty young for a heart attack, even.
Yeah. Which was actually shortly after the Traveling Wilburys released their first album. First of two albums, I should say. But it was kind of like he kind of had a second win before it passed. Which especially since the Traveling Wilburys, a lot of them were his fans, especially Jeff Lynne. Yeah, probably is, very satisfying to, help your hero kind of regain some clout. But yeah, very respected in the industry. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Songwriter Hall of Fame, Grammys, Rolling Stone placements, the whole kit and caboodle. And Mystery Girl, which is the one we're reviewing today, was his 22nd album. So quite a prolific artist. It was also his final album, being released in 1989. Now, if you were paying attention, you probably realized that he had died in 1988. He had completed this album actually a month before suffering his heart attack and dying. So this is technically a posthumous album. Though it was completed at the time of his death. It just hadn't been released yet. In fact, it was released, I think, a month after his death. So it was kind of like his swan song in a way. Obviously, unbeknownst to him at the time. And it's kind of got a lot of Traveling Wilburys bandmates, Jeff Lynne and Tom Petty, co-write some of the songs. It's also got some. It's also got a song written by Bono.
Yeah.
So it was kind of his final record, but kind of a second win for his later half of his career. And it was his first album of all new material since 79, so in the last 10 years. So kind of like him getting his groove back. So unfortunately, he passed away so early, but it was good that he at least got his second win in his career.
Mm-hmm. Let's get on into the album then.
Yes, let's. And we'll start with track number 1, You Got It. Which
is basically another Wilburys song, if we're being honest.
Yeah, you'll notice a lot of, obviously he was part of the band. I imagine he had a huge voice in it. But yeah, you'll notice a lot of the, some similar vibes there as well. And I think it's pretty obvious that this is his most favorite song from this album.
I'd never heard this one before, so.
Oh, you've never heard Everything You Want, You Got It?
Nope, I've never heard it before today.
That's pretty surprising. It's not like I hear it all the time, but it's definitely something I've just heard, in the circuits or just around at a Payless. But yeah, this is probably his, maybe not his most famous song. He also has Pretty Woman. But definitely
that is him, isn't it?
Yeah. Pretty Woman.
I just connected those dots in my head after you said that.
Yeah, if you think, you're like, oh, that's definitely
of course it's him. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But man, I listened to this before reading the wiki because I didn't want spoilers for writers and stuff going into this. So I was like, wow, you can really hear the inspiration that Jeff Lynne got Because initially I didn't realize that this was his last album. I was thinking this was an older one. I was like, wow, you can really hear from the chorus where Jeff Lynne gets his inspiration, and then from the rest of the song where he got the inspiration for most of the songs on From Out of Nowhere. But then I read the wiki and I'm like, oh, he helped write it, so that's why it sounds like his stuff.
Yeah, Jeff Lynne actually helped write, I think, three of the 10 songs on this album.
Yeah, and he was the producer on a couple as well.
So, him and Tom Petty wrote a couple as well.
Only on the first half. The back half.
Yeah, the first half, and the back half's so Elvis Costello wrote one of the songs too. Mm-hmm. So, got some big names on here. But yeah, this is the big lead single of the album. It's very Jeff Lynne ELO influenced, obviously, since Jeff Lynne wrote it. Mm-hmm. Though I'd say it's, even though it's very Jeff Lynne-esque, it's already, Roy Orbison's style is already so kind of infused with Jeff Lynne's style that they merge pretty effortlessly.
Yeah, and that was actually a big thing that they were looking forward to doing after that first Wilburys album came out, was working together more outside of the group, just doing music together. I can't speak for Orbison, but Jeff Lynne was a huge fanboy, so he wanted it. I'm not sure how into it Orbison was.
Well, he put him on 3. He let him write 3 of his songs.
Yeah,
on his big comeback album. So. At the very least, he respected him. And yeah, this song isn't particularly complex. It's got a catchy hook. Mm-hmm. It's basically presenting all the instruments you're going to see on the album from here on out. Some backing piano, some violin. Not like particularly like complex or like driving, but pretty breezy overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It was the harmonies that did it for me on the chorus. Those were the real, yeah. That's the good stuff, because that's the very Traveling Wilburys-esque harmonies that they did a lot in that album, and it makes
which
sense.
Is good because the chorus is good since they repeat it like 4 times in this 3-minute song.
Yeah, maybe one or two many choruses. Although I'll forgive it just because they're so good, but could have done with one less of those, I think.
Yeah, I will give shout outs for the fact that it's a lead single on a country rock album, so you're expecting the fade out, but it has a hard cut and at a good spot too. It just kind of leaves it off.
And then you get to the end of the song where it just cuts.
Yeah.
Which
that's
I think this is one of the times I would have actually preferred a fade.
Oh no, I like the cut.
Like they already went so hard in on the repetition of the chorus. Just keep going and fade it.
It's on like the dum dum, the big drum hit. I don't know. I appreciate it. The rest of the songs fade, I believe. So at least a little something different at the beginning.
But it was just, the old style, that kind of thing. I was like, it's totally going to fade. And then it didn't. It had me shocked.
Switching things up. And that leads us into the next song, which is, of course, track number 2, In the Real World, which is also... Wait, no, it's not. This one's written by Richard Kerr. And Will Jennings. But it's the second track on the album.
Mm-hmm. This was a bit more what I was expecting coming into this. Kind of that country rock, old country rock kind of feel with his crooning vocals and that kind of thing. I will say, this one, there was just something about the music in this one that there was a real disconnect between his vocal line and the backing track. The backing track just felt too modern compared to his singing, I think. Like it didn't feel very mixed. It kind of just felt like it was a default kind kind of a instrumental that he was singing over. It felt very out of place.
I mean, instrumental isn't anything to write home about on this one. I mean, drums, some light guitar strumming, very low-key, chill, kind of sad love song. I mean, I will say, throughout the album, I kind of could appreciate Roy Orbison's vocals a little bit more. I mean, I'm not sure if they're like technically like super great, but he knows how to carry the emotion through them, and they get pretty high every now and then.
Yeah, no shame on his vocals. It was just them mixed with the music is not great. I got the impression it's kind of like some real country easy listening music kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it does get a little more interesting overall when like the kind of vocal ooze start coming in with the violin near the end of the song, which I think adds a little more variety to it.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but just I don't know. There's just the real divide in this one, and thankfully, I don't think it really repeats itself anywhere else. It was just this one in particular, something about the style of instruments they use for the backing track.
Yeah, I think the style is going to repeat quite a few times. At least in my opinion. And I'm not a huge country fan myself, even old country. But we could get into that more in the next few songs. Such as track number 3, if you're ready, Sam.
Yeah.
All I Can Do Is Dream You, which starts with the vocals and guitar. Very low-key intro before kind of hopping into a more rockabilly, but kind of teetering there. It's a country song with more of I guess a faster clip going on.
Yeah, I think this one fits quite a bit better with his vocals. The style divide with the backing track is still there just because he's singing like he's in the 50s or 60s, and this music is 80s. This one bridges that gap quite a bit better. It draws a lot more inspiration from that old country, and they bring in some backing vocals, which kind of more closely stick to his style, which I think helps quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of the instrumentation here. Honestly, not that it's like poorly done or anything, but that kind of old style doesn't really gel with me.
But
I like the more
electric guitars, Cooper.
I mean, there's some electric guitars.
There's like
very, very Marty McFly-esque.
That's yeah.
I mean, I do like the more distinct bass on this one. It's got a pretty nice guitar solo at 145. I mean, at least a little more energy. Some of these songs get a lot lower energy. But, I mean, given the style of song, I don't hate it, but, it's never been my cup of tea. I can definitely recognize that Orbison's in this element on it.
Yeah, this one definitely feels more his style. Although he is kind of known for those slow, sad ballads. Which this
and
is not.
We'll get plenty of those.
Oh yes, we will. But jump into the next one if you're ready, Coop.
Yeah, I was about to say, speaking of sad, slow ballads, track number 4, "A Love So Beautiful," which was also written by Jeff Lynne.
Yes.
Which I think his influence, it's like there's a little bit of synth under here, like some low synth, that I feel probably Jeff Lynne influenced.
Yeah, with that opening chord, I was expecting it to be Jump.
It's like if Jump just didn't jump, just stayed on the ground. It's very, very slow rock ballad type song, where the emphasis is on Roy's kind of like dramatic vocal delivery.
There's a great use of strings in this, which I think help. I'm going to say it again, bridge the gap with his singing, because they kind of put like this kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a feathery filter over it, and it makes them kind of just blend into the background. So it draws all the attention to his voice because you can't really do anything other than that because it's so distinct. And then, I don't know if you heard it, Cooper, at the 2-minute mark, there was this weird instrument that stuck out like a sore thumb.
The 2-minute mark.
Yeah, and it was nothing like anything else in the rest of the song. It didn't come back. Just a single little riff.
That kind of like, it's like a little whistly, like semi-synth thing.
Yeah, it was like a death noise in an arcade game.
Yeah. I just kind of chalked that up to like Jeff Lynne just throwing a little synth, a little silly synth thing. It's like literally like a 3-second snippet. So,
but it really jumped out at me listening. I'm like, where the heck did that come from?
You know, it didn't jump out to me.
What?
The backing drums on the song.
Yes.
Which is the sleepiest beat I think I may have ever heard on a song. Not that drums always have to, not every song has to be hot for teacher, right? Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to pop off, but like the doon doon ch, doon doon ch, like just throughout the entire song. I was kind of I think I honed in on it too much throughout the song on my repeat listens. Kind of made the song less good for me. Though I do appreciate that the ending, it's pretty cinematic at least. With Roy's vocal delivery getting, appropriately dramatic.
I was really concerned it was going to be a hard cut. It sounded like it was going to a hard cut, but then it faded, thankfully. Those strings would have not worked with that.
I do like the ending where like the strings are building as, Roy hits his high note at the end. Yeah. So on to the next track, if you don't mind, Sam.
I do mind, actually.
Oh.
No, we can keep going though. It's fine.
Oh, track number 5, California Blue, a track written by Roy, Jeff, and Tom Petty.
Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I didn't know. Like I said, this was the song that prompted me to look at the wiki because I was listening to it. And I'm like, synth, the word blue a million times. Did Jeff write the song? And then, yes, he did.
Yeah, there was this one, You Got It, and the previous one. Mm-hmm. And for me, this is definitely the weakest out of the 3 that Jeff wrote. Again, it's a pretty sleepy song, but here I don't feel like it like builds up into anything, kind of like a Love So Beautiful. It's got the little synth, which is nice, and the instrumentation's all right. But I just feel like it's kind of coast mode on this song. The only thing that stands out to me on it, honestly, is that I'm not sure if you know, Sam, but there's like a wooden like clack percussion
are you talking
noise.
about the clackers in the exclusively left ear that are doing the 2-1 clap thing? Yes, I noticed that.
Usually I don't pinpoint those. I know that's more of like something that you get annoyed by, but the song's like already kind of not super interesting, so like my brain kept drafting to that like really piercing clack.
Those clackers are used in like marching bands and stuff when you don't have a metronome, and they're horrible. They're not even an instrument. I don't know what they are. They're just awful. It's just either two sticks or 2 rocks that you bang together, and it makes a really loud noise, and it's very sharp. They use it for a metronome and freaking marching band, so you can hear it across an entire football field. It's not something that you put exclusively in one ear. Very bad choice.
It's not like muffled at all. It's very, very piercing.
Very sharp.
Which I don't appreciate. Especially, maybe if it was on a different song, I like, a little more going on, I'd let it slide. But beyond that, it's kind of like the most obvious thing on this, and the most interesting thing, even if it's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something. I will say I liked Roy Orbison's singing style quite a bit better in the song. I do like the note he hits at the end. California Blue, like right at the very end.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, points for that. A point. But still, hella sleepy song.
Jump into track number 6 if you're ready.
Yes, track number 6, She's a Mystery to Me, which is the Bono produced song. Which, I haven't listened to too much Bono. But this song definitely carries a little bit of a different feel than the other songs. Maybe with the more obvious bongos playing in the background. Bongos, Bono. Maybe there's something there.
By God, you cracked the code.
Every Bono song has bongos, of course. No, I mean it's another pretty soft song. But I think I like this one a lot more than some of the previous softer songs.
Really?
Yeah. I mean it's subtle, but I like Roy's vocals on this one, especially on the chorus. And the drums and guitar, they start to pick up throughout the song. Not like in super like glaring obvious ways, but like kind of subtle ways that I appreciate. I'm guessing you don't.
No, I mean the backing track leaves quite a bit to be desired, in my opinion. It's got very little going for it. They've got the main guitar line exclusively in the left ear, and it's not like a low guitar. It's a pretty sharp, high electric guitar. Nothing to balance it in the right. I think they attempted to balance it with Orbison singing, which he's got quite a bass voice. It does not balance a very treble electric guitar, and it's poorly mixed. And then you get into the back half of the song, and it's just him saying "Mystery Girl" over and over and over again. I
wouldn't say it's poorly mixed. I mean, I didn't really even notice the guitar in one ear thing.
I think your brain just mixes everything to mono before you realize it.
And I love it. It's much better.
I wish. I wish I.
Let me discuss it. You got the song's got some fun piano licks in it at the very least.
Yeah, that's true. But that guitar just kind of ruined it for me.
This song's definitely a little more bare bones, especially at the beginning. But I feel like, it starts bare bones and ends less bare bones. And Roy Mystery Girl several different ways. Even if it's just the same word.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you that last one.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Jump into track number 7.
Track number 7.
The Comedians.
The Comedians, which is the song written by Elvis Costello.
So, I didn't expect this song to be the way it was based on the title.
Oh, you thought it was going to be a happy song?
I thought it was going to be a happy song.
Sam, don't you know comedians in country songs are always sad? There's never been a happy song about a comedian. Every song about a comedian or a clown in these old-timey country songs are always about how terribly depressed they are, how unfair the world is.
If the title was The Clown, then yeah, obviously I would know it'd be sad. But the comedian, usually comedians are actually funny as opposed to clowns.
But they're only funny because of how much they hurt Sam.
But Doctor, I am.
Oh yeah, but Doctor, I am the clown. Yeah, that's basically that joke, but in this song.
I can't believe that they made a Robin Williams joke into a song.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say I'm crazy for this song. I mean, pretty slow. Some build up in the chorus. It's got these like solemn, like Civil War ass drum line in the background, which just does not do it to me. Honestly, throughout this whole album, I'm not a big fan of the percussion stylings.
No. This one definitely sounded the oldest by far.
Yeah, it has a very, I guess, purist singer-songwriter thing going on here. Though I don't think it's done particularly interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I completely zoned out while typing for this one. It just kind of put me to sleep.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. Like it's not like I actively disliked it. It's just like this style of music is really not my speed.
No, that's I'm in step with you on that one. This is like, it's just like you kind of glaze over because it's I mean, it's an older style, sure, but like, dang, it's not quite.
It's like
Not quite what I
remember watching old rock and roll videos where the dudes are all on stage and they're in suits. They're zoot suits and they're, very, very fit and formal playing early rock songs. This is like going back one step even further to where they're not allowed to look happy and they can't play anything exciting.
Before there was no roll and it was barely rock.
Yeah.
This is like
Pebble.
If that. Yeah, so I mean, different styling. I don't think it worked out.
But it wasn't actively bad.
No, I mean, there's nothing offensive about it. But like, there's nothing I think particularly good about it either.
No. Well, we're finally in agreement on one. Jump into the next track.
Track number 8, the only one.
Man, I really could use a faster track, Cooper. It's not like he's going to have 3 or 4 slow tracks in a row, right?
And it's funny you say that because my notes exactly are the fact that I'm like, man, Roy's he's not a high energy artist, is he?
So we got another slow one. It really started to drag for me at this point. I take a bit of a break from typing. Because listening is different. When you're actively typing stuff about it, it starts to really slow down.
Yeah, it definitely erodes enjoyability.
Yeah.
Because by the time we get to the back half of the album, the instrumentation is like really just starting to be like default. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, you say that, but there's a pretty dope sax solo on this one.
Okay, the sax is pretty nice. It gets high points for that.
You got the doobie singers that are kind of giving that sock hop influence that you probably hated.
I mean, I hated probably because it reminded me of the Wiggles, the fruit salad song. The first step. So no, I thought those were a little fun, and I really like the sax solo. But yeah, the other instrumentation is like slow ass percussion, like very standard guitar riffs that just there to like because you have to have them.
Well, they bring in the country guitar though. They haven't used it very much throughout the album. I kind of wish they had used it more, but I think that you're pooping on the instrumentation here, which
I am.
To be fair, is deserved, but they do some things in this one particularly that just pop it just a little bit, just enough to where it's not complete shit.
But that's like, I just wish you'd taken it farther,
Yeah.
Where it's like I see like, ooh, I see the little complexities that he throws in there, but then like the rest of it is it's like icing a really nice cake, like it's beautiful, but then it's like very plain like store-bought vanilla cake.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you bite into the crust, you're like, okay, the icing looks nice, but
the base of it's just a bit too dry.
It's a bit dry, it's not the flavor you like.
They accidentally put half the amount of vanilla in that they were supposed to, so it kind of just tastes like crumbs.
It doesn't taste bad. You'll eat a slice, but like you won't remember it in 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's not like you cut into it and they mixed like dog shit into it. Like you'll remember that because how bad it was. But
it's like just the standard like store-bought, cake, and you're like, okay, yeah, gets the job done, but
yeah, forgettable. Jump to track number 9.
Yeah, that's enough of that. We'll jump to track number 9, Wind Surfer, which okay, here we got a little more energy going on.
I mean, especially right there at the start, I thought I was watching Looney Tunes.
Which it kind of starts with the more energy, but I feel it kind of runs out of things to do.
Yeah, it runs out pretty quick. But they did bring back the country guitar, which is what I wanted, so I got my wish at least.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I kind of zoned out during this one again. Like another slow one. Just my eyes glazed over. I listened to the lyrics a bit. It's kind of hard to understand what he's saying. It's a love story, but also a dude who just wants to windsurf. I guess.
The tale as old as time. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Everything past comedians starts to kind of melt together in my mind.
Yeah, I mean it's there's a reason we haven't done any music from the 60s and earlier, I think.
There's any, not that it's all bad.
I guess 50s and earlier, we've probably done it. I'm sure something we've done has been during the 60s. Late 60s was...
I mean, there's a lot of great rock in the 60s. I mean, yeah. The Beatles came out during then.
We haven't done any Beatles yet, though.
That's true. I might have to do that then.
Did we?
We had George Harrison.
I thought maybe we did Abbey Road, but maybe not.
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm thinking of my other music podcast.
Oh, music repair.
No, it's a car podcast themed around music.
Oh, this is the Record Breaker, where we talk exclusively about new cars.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Obviously, we're talking about everything besides the song because it's kind of boring. I mean, a bit of country, a bit of rockabilly,
a
little bit of rockability, but not much of it.
It's just kind of here. It's not great. It's not shit. It's just exists. More of that Costco, not even Costco cake's good. More of that store-bought box cake.
It's like a day past its expiration date, but that's fine.
And it's been on the counter for 2 days before they iced it.
Yeah, so, I honestly, it's just kind of a big nothing, honestly, for me. I'm going to go into the final song of the album.
Yeah, Careless Heart.
Yep, track number 10, Careless Heart. Which I will notice that the original final song, they did re-release this album with a kind of exclusive song. We aren't including that because we like to review them in their initial release state.
Also, that'd be another 4-minute song at this point, and I don't think we would have been able to handle that.
I mean, I'm not going to say you can handle it. I listened to the song; it's fine, but it's very in the realm of these last 4 songs, where it's like definitely a Roy Orbison song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just took a break at the wrong time. I took a break before the comedians, and then came back and did those 4 in a row, writing them, and I'm like, I should have just not come back.
I mean, I give the man points for consistency.
Yeah. But this one, this one's got a bit more going for it, It's
got a little bit more.
It's got that piano.
Or it's got a little more vocals going on. It's got the nice piano. I mean, I don't dislike it as much as the last couple songs.
No, it's definitely best of the last 4.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't connect with this type of music because this album was pretty highly reviewed when it came out. Like 4 and 4.5 stars across the board.
Well, Cooper, just to remind you, when Murder Most Foul came out, there was no negative comments in the YouTube comment section. So
that's true. I mean, it may have something to do, and I mean, this was his like immediately posthumous album.
Yeah.
So maybe it was more of like a celebration of his career as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. I'm just not sure if this, at least for me, the styling of music has held up particularly well, in the 30 years since it's been released.
No, not at all. But I will say for the instrumentals on this one do carry it. There's kind of like this mishmash of styles that come together in this one. It's got a little bit of the piano. It's got a little bit of the old country. It's kind of they don't really fit together. It's like celery and a cranberry salad, but it just kind of works.
Yeah, it's not like a bad unfitting together.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, I'll take it.
Yeah. The chorus is very repetitive. But if you just kind of tune that out and listen to the backing track, it's all right.
Yeah, I don't think Tom Petty's quite I don't think like songwriting in terms of like the actual lyrics is like necessarily a strong suit.
Yeah, and then there was that wonderfully awkward fade out at the very end.
Yeah, the good old 30-second log fade out on the end of an album.
No,
really let you know it's done.
That's the album.
Yeah, that's Roy Orbison's Mystery Girl.
Shockingly, not a track titled Mystery Girl, which should have been She's a Mystery to Me. Granted, he said it like 50 or 60 times in that song.
Well, maybe that's the mystery, is that he didn't name a track after it.
You never know. So let's do favorite and least favorite. Let's be real. Let's do the downhill jog, which I imagine this is going to be. So, what's your favorite song on this?
Probably gotta be You Got It. I mean,
yeah,
the opener. It's a strong opener. I do kind of like She's a Mystery to Me. I know you're not a fan of it, but I kind of dug Bono's instrumentation on it. But yeah, I think You Got It is probably the best song. Not particularly complex, but it's got a nice, catchy Jeff Lynne hook. I think the instrumentation's high enough energy. Rory's vocals come to deliver. It's a simple song that's just catchy in all the right ways. How about you, Sam?
Same here. It's basically just a spare Traveling Wilburys song.
Which honestly is a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, it would feel right at home on the album. And then let's start the downhill walk. What was your least favorite song, Cooper?
I mean, initially I have down California Blue.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't care for it that much, as just in terms of the obnoxious wood clack maybe made me a little meaner on it than necessary. But kind of, talking about it listening back through, I might switch to the Comedians at this point, because that's kind of the mark of where the album kind of stops being interesting completely. Honestly, I mean, if it had just been more of an EP and stopped on the first half of the tracks, I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
I'm going to move your cutoff up by one song. She's a Mystery to Me was my least favorite song. It just the balancing was terrible. The lyrics were repetitive. It just was not a good time.
Sam, you're just saying that because you hate Bono. Because he went to your house one time and then ate all your sandwiches and then left without even saying hi.
Yep, it was incredibly rude.
Classic Bono. He's always doing it. What he's famous for.
Breaking and entering and eating sandwiches. So what would you? Oh, I guess we got to do the rating. Oh God, it's been too long.
It's been a hot second since we've described the rating system here on the Audio Shop.
Also, I don't know if you've been looking at the stream at all, but for some reason everything's a little bit blurry. I don't know why. I don't remember if it was before, but the music notes are very blurry, and then the rating system is blurry. I don't know if an update broke everything or what, but.
Well, we'll just say it's a throwback to Roy Orbison. They only had 144p.
Yeah. You don't need. I mean, it's an audio podcast, so live with it.
The visual design on my audio podcast isn't up to snuff.
Yeah, you're lucky you get any video elements. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember who did it last, so I'll just take a whack at it. So here at Audio Shop, we initially decided on making a card podcast. And then we realized that we don't really know anything about cars nor like them all that much. But I had all these assets that took me 5 minutes to make made. So we switched over to music and we just used the same rating system. So you got Showroom, which is the top of the top, the best of the best. You'll be listening to this album for the rest of your life. And then we've got the bottom of the barrel, absolute horrible scrapyard. Ooh, yuck, throw it away. I've lost 5 years of my life for listening to this. And then, anything in between. So, Cooper, what would you say you give this album?
So, I know we've really dunked on this album, especially in the back half. I guess it needs to be said that it's not like bad. It's not like it's competent songwriting and like singing and instrumentation. And if you're into the more old country style, it might be worth giving a crack at. But this was not a super enjoyable listen for me. Definitely by the back half, I was kind of bored of it, honestly, especially after multiple listens. I mean, You Got It's a great opener, but it's really all downhill after that. And like I said, no like duds, no like super like, oh, this is, ow, my ears are hurting, but like nothing super interesting afterwards, anyways. Right? It's just like an Arby's. Yeah, you'll get food, but
It's Arby's.
You can't expect too much of it. Which is a shame to say because Roy Orbison, he's definitely an industry legend, and I know a lot of people, at least when it released, like this album. But I can't say it quite did it for me. So I'm gonna have to go and slot it into used rental. It's music that's competently done, but I don't really have a reason to return to it or really suggest it to anyone at all, in my opinion. What about you, Sam?
I'm also giving it a used rental. I think maybe I'd say high. I toyed with the idea of Fixer Upper, but the back half is just so forgettable. I definitely say go listen to You Got It. That's a great song. But everything else is just kind of like, yeah. I mean, if you listen to them in the past, then yeah, absolutely, you'll love it because you like them. But if you've never listened to it, don't. Like, to go off your Arby's analogy, if you meet somebody who's never been to an Arby's, you're not going to say go to Arby's. You're just going to be like, yeah, it's a thing, but you probably shouldn't go. And I think that's an accurate representation of this album. It used to be really good. They used to have some really good things. And now it's just kind of like, yeah, but you can't be too mean because he just died. So,
I mean, not to disrespect the memory of the man, obviously, but it's just not my cup of tea.
No, and I'll be honest, when going back and listening to Traveling Wilburys, don't listen to his songs on there either. They're not.
You're more of a Dylan Petty kind of guy.
No, more of a George and Jeff kind of guy. I listen to the Petty songs, George, Jeff, and Petty. The rest of them are going, If only Bob Dylan didn't have so many damn songs on that album.
He's a singer-songwriter. I write songs, Sam. That's what I do.
I write songs.
Songs, Sam. That's what I do.
And I pretend to sing.
But Bob Dylan actually writes the Garfield comics.
No, Cooper, you misunderstand. Bob Dylan is the physical representation of the Garfield comics.
Mondays, am I right?
Come on, where's my lasagna? All right. Well, let's get on over to the spare tire, which is basically whatever else we've been listening to since last episode, and it has been a little bit, like 2 months.
Yeah, just about. So we've I've got some back catalog I've been listening to.
I'll give you one guess to guess what I've been listening to the most, Cooper.
I'm guessing some Jeff Lynne.
Close. Electric Light Orchestra.
Well. Tomato.
But I also delved into some Johnny Cash quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
When we were at PopCon, one of the guys we were there with knows guitar, so we started playing Folsom Prison Blues. And I hate him for it because then it was in my head for the next week. I could listen to it on loop and it wouldn't leave. I mean, I guess there's worse songs to get stuck in your head.
Johnny Cash, he's like the evolved version of Bob Dylan. That's probably going to piss a lot of people off.
He can actually sing, though.
Yeah, that's true.
But I can't think I've been listening to anything else. I think that's about it. Just a lot of Electric Light Orchestra, as always. And then a couple podcasts. There's a good one that I just actually started listening to since we last were doing the podcast, called Pitch Please.
Pitch Please.
Their tagline is where people who play video games pitch ideas to those who make them. And it's pretty fun. They'll come up with an idea and then talk about it. There's a lot of people. There's like 5 guys on the podcast. So it gets a little chaotic. And they don't mix very well. I'll say that. The levels are a bit different between them, but they're getting better. So, but it's pretty fun. something to slap on in the car on the way home after work's kicked my ass. Oh, and then it's been so long. There was the new King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard album.
Yes. The Butterfly 3000.
Yeah, I listened to that too.
I also quite enjoyed that album.
And the other thing, I've been on another Cassiopeia kick, listening to Asian Dreamer quite a bit. Some smooth jazz, or I guess it's smooth Japanese jazz. Turns out most of the jazz I have downloaded on my phone is Japanese. They just know how to do it.
They make some good jazz, especially modern Japanese jazz. Really carrying on some of the mantle.
Japanese
idea for a video game.
That's what it is.
Mario and Sonic play at the Olympics.
I think you're a few years too late on that one. So
what? No, they could have made that already. It's so stupid.
You're telling me you don't want to see Eggman do the 100-meter dash?
Well, no, of course. I prefer him to see him swim, so he just have to wear a shirt.
Okay, what have you been listening to, Cooper?
Anyways, what I've been listening to? A lot of new albums came out that were really good. The new Tyler, the Creator album, Call Me If You Get Lost. Great, dude's just been on fire with these last couple albums. Highly recommend. New Hiatus Coyote album was also fantastic. I've been listening to a lot of Michael Jackson. I've been working through his discography. And man knows how to make a good pop song. I know, controversial opinion, but some of his older stuff's kind of boring. But especially once he comes into his own on Off the Wall, it's just kind of hit after hit after that. Been listening to. I found this artist called Spelling. She just released an album that got a lot of high praise. I listened to her stuff. Very, very whimsical, theatrical kind of instrumentation and music, but I quite like it. Also a new Leon Bridges album just dropped a couple days ago that I quite liked. Very kind of some soulful, maybe kind of slow-paced R&B type thing going on there. Kanye was supposed to drop an album on Friday, but he's a liar, so it didn't actually drop.
Are you just learning this?
No. I fully anticipated it not to happen. I was texting my friends about saying it wasn't going to drop, and then it didn't. So I was vindicated. That'll just come out whenever it comes out.
I forgot to mention I've been listening to quite a bit of Miracle Musical again as well.
I was doing some hiking yesterday, and I was re-listening through Hawaii Part 2.
His only album, yes.
Yes, well, yeah. You know what I mean.
Sadly,
I like
his only album.
The full album, but yeah. No, I definitely have some neat ideas on there.
It's just been a mood as of late. I don't know, that kind of theater-esque, without really fully committing to it, sound.
Yeah, there's not a lot like it.
Mm-mm. You think he'll make another? It came out in 2011.
Hey, it's only been 10 years.
Yeah.
Where's Hawaii Part 3? Or Part 1 for that matter.
Well, this has been the Audio Shop Podcast. Thank you for coming back to listen to us again. I know it's been a while. Hopefully we won't have a gap this long. Actually, I'm about to take a 3-month boating trip, Cooper. So
sabbatical?
Yeah. No. So we're hopefully back into the swing of things. We'll see.
But summer break's over. School's back in session, boys.
Yeah. There's no point in forcing this if we don't have the time or don't have the motivation, Sorry, but it's not going to happen. I know that insults myself who has the browser window open, but as one of the 3 viewers. But yeah, hopefully we're back.
We're going to be exclusively a Roy Orbison review channel from here on out.
God, please no. We're renaming ourselves to the Orbison Hour.
The Orbison. He's got 22 albums.
Oh God. We're gonna spend an hour. That's not enough content though, Cooper. We're gonna have to spend an hour on each song. We're gonna break it down
really
extremely fine
to some molecular level.
Yep. All right. Well, if you like what you've heard for some reason, you can go to our YouTube. You just scroll down. There's a big picture of Jeff Lynne. He's the guy with the glasses and the curly hair. Click that. All the past episodes are there, I think. I'll have to check and make sure everything's been uploaded. I think last time I checked, and there was like a month's worth of stuff that was just sitting there that I hadn't hit public on. So that's my bad. I think I cleared it out though. And then if you want to know what we're listening to next,
you can follow us at AudioShop14 on Twitter. That is our Twitter handle. So we'll let you know what we're reviewing. If there's any delays, we'll let you know there.
Yeah.
That'll be the latest news of what will be coming up next.
And if you're listening on YouTube and you'd like to come join us live, we've had a very active chat today. I'd probably say the most active we've ever had, surprisingly. And maybe we'll interact with you, because it's not like anybody is going to come back and watch it on YouTube and question what was going on in the Twitch chat at the time. So
Exactly.
So thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See ya.